Welcome, Rotarians and guests, to the Rotary Club of York, where our mission is to improve life in the city of York by connecting our club's diverse community leaders through fellowship, action, and service. I am your president, Courtney Piccolo, and as you know, we start off all of our meetings by reciting the four-way test. So if you would please join me. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Today, our opening song, The Star Spangled Banner, and pledge will be led by Leanne Wilson, followed by the invocation with past President Jackie Summers, and visitor introductions by Lynn Morrison.
Rotarians and guests, please join me. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the hope of the brave? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in a word of prayer. Gracious God of healing and strength, we gather here today in gratitude for the fellowship and friendship we enjoy in Rotary. We ask for comfort and healing in this time of grief for the families and loved ones of the victims of the recent flight tragedies. Today, we recognize the impact of the United Way of York County and its commitment to initiatives which touch many lives and inspire hope where it's most needed. We acknowledge the tireless efforts of Brian Grimm and his dedicated team and all those who contribute to its mission. As we honor the work of United Way, and we remember the lives lost in the tragic events of last week, let us renew our commitment to service and compassion. May we be inspired to reach out to those in need, to offer a helping hand, and to build a world where kindness and empathy prevail. We give thanks for this food and for those who have thoughtfully prepared and served it. And now to you we commend this time in the spirit of unity and hope. Amen.
It's my pleasure to have the honor to introduce our few but mighty guests today. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing until President Courtney has welcomed you. We have a couple of visiting Rotarians. First is Bethany Richardson from the North York Club. She's a guest of Brian Grimm today. Paul Rouse from the Mount Joy Club, guest of Jack Dyson. Now our guests, Laura O'Grady, guest of Brian Grimm. Ashley Grimm, guest of JT Hand. Lauren Hawkins, guest of Tom Caltagirone. It's killing Tom. He can't bring a guest every week. It's killing him. And last but not least, Amy Spellman, a guest of Kelly Gibson.
Visitors, I trust your experience today is filled with a great lunch, fellowship, and some fantastic community leaders and a program that will inform and inspire you. Thank you for being our guests today, and please come visit us again anytime. Rotarians, please join me in welcoming our guests. And now for some announcements. First up, our condolences to Jeff Lobach and his family on the death of his niece, Captain Rebecca Lobach. Rebecca was one of the officers aboard the military helicopter involved in the tragic plane crash that claimed her life last Wednesday in DC. So please keep him in your thoughts and prayers. The IDEA Committee, with the help of our friends at the York County History Center, have prepared several items to help our club recognize and celebrate Black History Month. You'll find flyers on your tables noting local events, and each meeting this month, we will display a slide that highlights 2 African-American pioneers who have helped us shape York. This week, we recognize William Goodridge and Etha Cowles Armstrong. The Youth Leadership Committee meets this afternoon at 2 p.m. on Teams. The Youth Service Projects Committee will meet on February 6th at 8:30 on Zoom. Also on February 6th, the Global Rotary Foundation Committee will meet at 3 p.m. on Zoom. The Fundraising Events Committee will meet on February 7th at 8:30 a.m. on Zoom. And the PPE Committee will meet on February 12th at 8 a.m. on Zoom. Lots of committee meetings. At this time, I would like to invite up to the podium Sarah White, Chair of the Communications Committee, to present to you a committee spotlight so that she can share awareness of what the Communications Committee does, as well as give details around how her committee ties into our club's mission and statement and strategic plan. So, Sarah, please join me and take it away.
Good afternoon. The Communications Committee is working hard, as always, to bring you content and to help you communicate with each other as well as the outside world. And in that effort, our latest endeavor is to create a Facebook group that is private to our organization. This will not only serve as a way for us to communicate with each other, but it will also be a place for fun trivia about our club, announcements about events, and also a place where any of us, if we're at an event or we're a community chair and are working on things and want to advertise that within the club, that would be a great spot to do so. You should have a QR code on your table. I would encourage you to go ahead and join if you're able, so that you don't have to think about it later. It will ask you for an email address that is associated with our club. So if you don't remember, then it's time to take out your handy Club Runner app and look at the membership. You can find your email address that's associated with Rotary there. I also want to encourage anyone who is interested in social media or marketing generally to join us. We meet once a month, the end of the last Tuesday of every month at a bar. And we do have drinks, if that's enticing to anyone. Lastly, I really want to give a shout out to the committee in general, and particularly to Kate Newland. Kate has been integral in setting up this Facebook group. So can we give her a warm round of applause there? Thank you so much, Kate. We're really excited. And last thing, I really want, again, to emphasize this is a private group. So if you're sharing, only people in our Rotary Club will be able to see it. I just want to, make sure that that's clear in case you're, shy and don't like to post things. This was really just a forum for us as members, but I want to start this with number one, the announcement of a contest. So if you put a picture from the year you joined Rotary, bonus points if it has something to do with Rotary. Not a picture from a magazine, but one of your own pictures. Okay. And then the other thing I was going to do is take a picture up here. We get the webpage.
Yep.
So for our first post, I'm going to take a picture of all of us together today in the room. Everybody smile. All right. Thank you.
All right, there's about 135 people in this room or between the two rooms, and I saw that there was only 4 people that joined the Facebook group so far. I could see the little notifications popping up on there. I caught 3 of the names: Gina, Debbie, Gina Spangler, Debbie Ashway, and Doug Berman. So good job. And there was a 4th person that popped up. I just couldn't see it that far away, but definitely would encourage you guys to download that. And I believe an email, Sarah, is going to go out later today too, that you can just, oh, it's already out. Perfect. You can just click on it as well. We're making your life as easy as possible to join this Facebook group, to all keep us better connected. All right, switching gears now, I'm going to invite Josh George to the podium to introduce our newest member.
Well, good afternoon. We just had Groundhog Day, and here I am again. The good news is this is about Aaron. This is not about me. So I would like to introduce you to our newest member of the Rotary Club of York. This is Aaron Karagas. And he has the unique distinction today of being by himself. So feel free to make fun of him, yell at him, wave, do wacky stuff, or just say hi when you are leaving and welcome him to the club like a nice Rotarian. A little bit about Aaron. He is a graduate of Abington Heights High School and went on to East Stroudsburg University, where he earned his BS in management. And then he went to Marywood University, where he earned his MBA in finance. He is a vice president and business banking officer for Orrstown Bank. And he was on the people's side of that transaction here. So he is more of a people's person than he is an Orrstown person, but he's learning the ropes, and he tells me there's lots of adjustment going on and he's figuring it out. He, community service-wise, he has been a 10-year volunteer with the United Way of York. He is a past board member for Leadership York, and he has been a volunteer at Junior Achievement for many years. His hobbies include golf, hiking, cooking, and he enjoys trips to Maine. So if any of you are from Maine, he'd love to talk to you about his experiences and maybe yours. He is the father of Caleb, who is 14, Audrey, who is 9, and Kellen, who is 7. And he's proposed for membership by our speaker today, Brian Grimm. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Karagas.
Thank you. Okay.
All right. Aaron, welcome to our Rotary Club. We are thrilled to have you here and be a part of our club. As you know, our mission is to improve life in the city of York, and we're thrilled to have you be a part of that. So Rotarians, please help me again welcome our newest member, Aaron. All right, at this time, I would like to invite Jules Tolbert to the podium, who will introduce our program, our one and only Brian Grimm, for today.
Good afternoon. As chair of the board of directors for the United Way of York County, it's my pleasure to introduce Brian Grimm, president of United Way, to present our program today. It was 2 years ago I stood in front of you and told you about United Way's pursuit of a new strategic direction that responded to long-term negative trends impacting our effectiveness. The change was to focus on a single issue, that of assisting working households in our community on their journey toward financial stability. We do this by collaboratively and equitably reducing barriers to prosperity. Working alongside our friends at the York County Economic Alliance and the York County Community Foundation, along with new and traditional partners, we seek a vision of an equitably thriving York County. United is the way. To pursue this new strategic direction, we sought a new leader to take us there. Brian Grimm has been at the helm for 18 months now. He brought with him a wealth of experience garnered from over 2 decades in the nonprofit sector. Brian has an undergraduate degree from Kutztown University and a master's degree from Clarion University, and he is a graduate of multiple Leadership York programs. All of them, I think. Prior to his current position, Brian served as CEO of York Day Early Learning for 6 years. He is driven by a passion for making meaningful impact, evident in his dedication to both the nonprofit landscape and the overall well-being of the community in York County. In his time as president of the United Way of York County, Brian has built an impressive and effective team and has established himself as a strong leader in our community. Today, Brian will talk about United Way's work over the last 2 years to better understand the challenges facing the Alice population, to refine our understanding of which barriers to financial stability would be most meaningful to focus on, and to enhance our approach to gathering resources for this important mission. I present fellow Rotarian Brian Grimm.
Good afternoon. I don't think I've heard my name said that many times since last night when my wife was yelling at me, but thank you, everyone. Thank you for this time and this opportunity to talk about our United Way. I do want to just take a moment and recognize Jules for his leadership. Without him, things would be a lot differently. So we're really happy. And he does so much for this community behind the scenes that we don't even know about. Quietly, just effectively putting service above himself. So I just want to give a round of applause for Jules, if we could, please. Thanks. Thanks, Jules. Everyone hear me okay in the back? Is Michael Black still back there? He didn't leave yet, did he? I'm watching him. All right. So real quick, I would also like to recognize our board members. So if you're a board member, a current board member of our United Way, could you please just stand real quick for me? We have 3 over here, 4, 5, Gina in the back, 6. Oh, we're loaded. Great. Can we give these folks a round of applause as well? Yeah. Special shout out to John Eister, who's our chair of our resource department, chair of the resource team, which is pretty great. All these folks have been around for this transition, and again, we wouldn't be here without them. So thank you to those board members. Now, one more quick activity, if you would. If you've ever been a past board member, could you raise your hand? If you've ever worked or volunteered at the United Way, could you raise your hand? Have you ever volunteered as on a committee, on a allocations committee, a campaign cabinet chairs? I know we have some of them. Could you raise your hand? All right. That's a pretty good amount of folks here. It goes to show that this club really knows how to give back and to put their service above self, and also the importance of our United Way. And we're grateful to all of them and all they've done over the years. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Real quick, and Jules talked about our leadership team. I wanted to give you a quick rundown on what that looks like. The past 18 months, really my goal was to build a leadership team that would create a stronger United Way and move us in a direction of this transition for not just this year, next year, but for years to come. This leadership team has solidified themselves as respected collaborators, innovative thinkers, and trusted partners throughout our county. I'm really blessed to have them. Most of you know these folks. You know Kim, who just celebrated her 8th year here at Rotary Club, so her 8th year anniversary. We have Laura O'Grady, our VP of Impact and Strategy. Russ Reeser, who's back in the office, knee-deep in budgets. And then we have Bethany Richardson, who's in charge of our VP in marketing. Also, if you see her start pacing around, that means my presentation has gone off the rails and she's probably going to quit. But all seriousness, this team has a proven excellence in leadership roles in their previous positions, and they bring a wide range of knowledge for this team, for our United Way. So thankful for them. I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else. As all of you know, no nonprofit is effective without a highly functional, highly competent board of directors, as well as a highly competent leadership team. And I feel like we're blessed to have both. So we're really grateful for those folks. So let's get into it, shall we? The first update I'd like to share is kind of pertains to where we're at currently, our current state. Some of you are aware, and Jules touched on this a little bit, about the past 2 years, we've pivoted from our traditional allocation strategy to a more impact-focused mission. And this allows us to really tailor our impact in the community to influence greater change. So during the past 2 years, we've focused our attention on these ALICE households that hopefully you've all heard by now: asset limited, income constrained, employed. Asset limited, income constrained, employed. These are households that are just one financial emergency away from slipping into poverty. They are hardworking families, hardworking individuals who want to work. They just can't make ends meet. Their job can be anything such as a childcare provider, a healthcare aide, a cashier. Chances are you've probably run into one of these individuals in the past hour or two of your day. This past May, our partners at United for Alice, published their annual Alice data. This comes out annually. We're looking forward to May's report in the next month or two. What that report found is that wages have risen at the fastest rate in 4 decades. Wages have risen at the fastest rate in 4 decades, but it still hasn't kept up with inflation. It's not even close. We know 1 in 4 households, around 25%, are still defined as Alice. We know about 46,000 households in Alice in York County alone, 46,000. To bring this a little bit closer to what we focus on in this club is York City. There are over 17,000 households total. Around 63% of those households are below the Alice threshold. The Alice threshold includes those below the federal poverty line and within the Alice demographic. This is the highest in the county, is in New York City. But unfortunately, our surrounding locations are growing as well. These households are friends, our neighbors. These are folks we deal with every day, that we talk with every day. And we see the importance of taking care of them like they take care of us. They're in our childcare centers, they're in our checkout counters, they're in our hospitals, etc. The report also showed demographic disparities that I wanted to talk about. This helped us identify which population we want to target in that Alice population. 55% of Black and Hispanic households in New York County are living below the Alice threshold. 64% are single parents. 50% are older adults age 65 or older, which are living in Alice or poverty, as well as 38% of children birth to age 5. And finally, 21% of our veterans are in our Alice population or poverty, and some of our impact work will be tailored towards these demographics. So in order to place Alice at the center of our work, we held regular Alice focus groups, summits. We had held them, we continue to hold them to hear about their challenges. We held our 3 community-wide summits to learn about how best the United Way can make a difference in our community. We know that Alice needs accessible and affordable early childcare education so that our children can have the best start in life. And we also know they need reliable transportation to be able to get to work, to continue on their path to financial stability. So we listened, we heard what our community said the United Way should be focused on, which is our Alice hardworking individuals. We heard what those barriers were, and we heard what barriers that our community felt we should be addressing, which is childcare and transportation, as well as financial wellness. So now I'd like to spend a little bit of time digging into what that looks like with our early childhood education to start. So we're really going to start digging into the early childhood education, transportation, and our financial wellness programs. It's safe to say this has been a major focus over the past 18 months. Laura and her team have done a great job of digging in to see how we can create some influential, passionate work to really create some positive change in these barriers. In 2025, our goal is to serve 5,000 Alice households with targeted investments in early childcare education, transportation, and financial wellness. These investments will approximately put $3.4 million back into our economy, back into the pockets of our Alice and our working families. Let's start with ECE, early childcare education. You're going to hear me say ECE a lot. Did you know a family of 4 with an infant and a preschooler, the basic cost to live and work in York County, excluding tax credits, rose 30% from 21 to 22. So 2021 to 22 increased to live here with family by 30%. In response to that overwhelming need, an infant toddler scholarship program was established in collaboration with the Community Foundation. You guys heard Natalie speak a few weeks ago about this great program. And I just wanted to address that, it might sound like it's duplicating services, but it's really not. What it is pooling resources to something that's very important that our community is told is needed to be addressed. So we work real closely with the Community Foundation. We work real closely with YCEA, as Jules alluded to as well. So family and children 6 weeks to 2 years old can apply for financial assistance to make high quality early learning affordable. In our pilot year last year, we awarded almost $178,000 to families across the county. This means those families were able to continue to work, continue their path to financial stability while their child gets a good start at their early learning centers. We're also, just real quick, an EITC approved business. So companies that donate to us, they get 100% of their donation back as a credit against their tax liability. So those dollars go directly to scholarshiping these children. Additionally, you heard Miss Katie Caples, who's in the back, speak a couple days ago, or a couple weeks ago, again, a couple of days. I don't even know what time is anymore. About the ECHO program. We are a proud funding sponsor of the ECHO program. This is an early childhood education initiative led by Community Connections for Children, as well as YCEA. The goal of ECHO is to double the number of children from low-income families in York County who have access to high-quality early learning. This past July, the ECHO initiative announced almost $1 million in grants awarded to early childcare education providers in York County alone. We're honored to be a part of that trailblazing effort and the work that Katie and Kevin are doing to be at the table to really work on creating some more accessibility for families. One of our sponsorship recipients remarked, "We were going to pull our child out of childcare because we were getting into significant debt paying for it. We can now keep her in care and make some payments toward our debt. Thank you so much for your help." I mean, can you imagine having to figure out how you're going to be able to work without having any kind of care for your child, but knowing that if you don't go to work, you cannot feed your child, right? These are questions that are coming up. These are problems that these folks have to make every single day. And our goal is to fill that gap and to help make that become more obsolete, those decisions. So big picture, upstream, we're funding ECHO, creating more capacity. Right now, we're funding scholarships and we're funding, lastly, operations of our traditional legacy nonprofit partners, folks like the YWs, the YMs, JCCs. We'll continue to help them fund their operations as we continue to look at this holistically as a community. Let's jump into transportation quick. It continues to be a huge barrier for Alice families. The geographic diversity in York County makes transportation uniquely challenging. It's a huge barrier for these families. So what are we doing about it? Well, I'm excited to announce that we're soon launching, and you'll see a little bit, Ride United, which is a program offered by the United Way Worldwide to deliver transportation solutions to Alice households. This is a unique collaboration between Lyft, DoorDash, and the United Way agencies, which will connect Alice households with critical rides to food pantries, doctor's appointments, educational programs, job interviews, veteran services, you name it. If you need a ride, we're going to hopefully help you out with that. To address the future state of transportation, we recently conducted and completed a transportation access study. This led by a cross-section coalition and will allow us to identify objectives to move the needle in access to transportation. Again, upstream, let's figure out what all the issues are. Let's gather everyone, have a conversation. Let's create some objectives and see how we as a community can move this needle on transportation issues moving forward. We understand that reliable transportation in our community is a work in progress, but we feel our community feels that we're in a unique position to lead this initiative to really create some change in our transportation issues. Our meeting, we just had it on Tuesday with our coalition that's just well underway. Includes members from the Planning Commission, state legislation, Rabbit Transit, nonprofit leaders, for-profit businesses, owners, academia. If you are in transportation, chances are someone in your organization is at the table having these conversations with us as we look to move that needle. At a recent Alice focus group in Hanover, one of our participants shared, "I walk 1 hour to get to work each day, and my shift ends at 11 p.m. I hate walking home in the dark, but I feel I have no choice." Unfortunately, this is not a unique situation for folks living in Alice. When this participant was actually saying the quote, the other folks in the room were nodding their heads in agreement that they're dealing with the same issues. I can't imagine letting one of my own family members walk home after work at 11 o'clock at night. And I think it's a real issue that's happening. And the reality is it's so much for our neighbors are doing this. And we need to help them. Our last programmatic initiative that I'd like to share with you today works on our financial wellness space. Many of you are familiar with our VITA program that we started a couple years back. We brought that back on 2 years ago. VITA stands for Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. We provide free tax prep services to put dollars directly back into the pockets of Alice households. Last tax season alone, it was to the tune of $1.4 million. $1.4 million back into the pockets of these working households. If we survey each person that goes through the VITA program, and if they told us that if we didn't have this free program, they wouldn't get their taxes done. So imagine all the things that can happen if you don't get your taxes done, right? We're up to 10 sites this year. We're looking to double the amount of returns this year from last year, and we're well on track. Our we have had appointments fill up like within seconds of the first of the start, which was, I think was last week. So we're really excited to see how many more lives we can help with that. If you're interested in volunteering, we have some opportunities for you. I would love to have you check our website out. Finally, we're investing in financial wellness and resources. That will allow these Alice households who are saving money through our VITA program, through our ECE work, through our transportation help, to be strategically utilized, right? They have these dollars now. Let's make sure they're using them in a way that's beneficial to them and their family on their path to financial stability. This past fall, we hosted a series of United for Financial Fitness classes at the York JCC to kick this work off. We are so grateful to them and their collaboration with this program. We provided childcare, food, and also classes. Now you have these dollars. How can you best utilize them? One of our VITA tax quotes that we had from one of our participants: the fact that your program is free helps me to concentrate my funds on needed payments at home. It may seem like a little thing, but this work is important to the financial stability of these households. Now, after all that, let's talk about what's coming up, because there's not enough yet. As we go into our third and final year of our issue-focused transition, we want to be sure that we maintain the essence of our United Way, which includes the opportunity for nonprofits to apply for dollars, to apply for funding. We want to ensure that these programs are centered around our Alice households and the betterment of our community as a whole. We have several grant cycles that will open throughout the year. ECE just opened up last week, or this week. Is it this week? Yeah. Which you can see on the screen. All this information is on our website under our impact tab. You also may be wondering, how are we supporting all these initiatives? Well, we continue to offer multiple different options for donors to get involved with our United Way. Many of you are familiar with our resource development team led by Kim. They are out and about in our community every day. While they're talking with local businesses and donors, they are now able to present a whole host of options for both corporations and individuals to give back and to get involved with our United Way. Corporations can customize their organizational support through sponsorships within our workplace campaigns. Corporate sponsorships for 2025 include opportunities to present at our donor receptions, to support our Women United series, our Emerging Leaders Society, and get involved in our signature event, which is Celebration. Our workplace campaigns continue to run throughout the year. I'm going to say it again. Our workplace campaigns continue to run throughout the year. I know that many of the individuals and companies in this room today have contributed to that effort, and we are so greatly appreciative. These funds can be designated by the donor directly towards our impact fund, our VITA program, ECE, or transportation fund. At our United Way, we also provide individual giving options for those who are looking to give outside the traditional workplace campaign method. I'm sure all of you are familiar with legacy giving. We're looking to expand that program where you can give a planned gift after you pass. We also have our Alexei de Tocqueville Society, who are our highest level donors. Through their incredible contributions, we are able to do so much. So they get all access to social media or social events at every level, including a pretty intimate, really nice gathering at the end of summer, which is absolutely my favorite event that we have. Together, all this support is critical to funding the amazing programmatic initiatives that I spoke about. If you are connected with us through any of these means, we are so grateful for your contribution. Some more information for you. I don't know if you could tell by our snazzy new deck, but United Way Worldwide, which I'll talk about in a second, began the transition to a global brand refresh where we're using this opportunity to create a more engaged and energized, elevated brand so that we can really highlight our impact areas in this new refreshing light. You'll see new logos, new photography, new graphic elements. We're looking to have all assets scheduled to be adopted by Q1 of 2026. So you should start seeing that stuff show up. I want to share something even more exciting than all the things I just shared, right? How can that possibly be, Brian, you ask? Well, let me tell you. We will be moving. So we are currently located on the second floor of the Powder Mill building and then 138 East Market Street on the left side. The Powder Mill Foundation was very generous and they purchased the building at 138. We're at 140. At 138 and have donated to the United Way. I'm not sure what that speaks to us being as tenants. They were like, hey, we bought this building. Why don't you move over there? Over there. Okay. I mean, I know we have some loud laughers and we might get a little rambunctious in our office, but I didn't know it was that bad that they'd buy us a building. Anyway, we're very grateful to Michael and the team there. our new address will be 138. Over the next few months, we're going to start renovating the first floor. The second and third floor will just be demoed, but we're looking for some tenants, some nonprofits who might want some space downtown, who might look to upgrade their facilities. We'll have some nice space for them available. The main attraction to this move was we don't have a space to coordinate and convene. We have an 8-person conference room currently. Our staff is on top of each other in our current facility. We're talking about coordinating and convening, but we have to go ask everyone, hey, can we come hang out with you guys? Our board meetings, our committee meetings, our coalitions, they'll all be in-house. There'll be a 50-person conference room available for just us internally, as well as our nonprofits throughout the community. We're excited to have that presence downtown. When we moved out of our King Street location a few years ago, we really lost that connection to our community. So we're looking forward to getting that back. We plan large, finally, we'll jump into the last. Finally, the last update I have for you are some of the community engagement opportunities. We continue to invest our time and resources with our affinity groups, which include Women United. I think Gina's here. She's our incoming chair. She has some great ideas for us. We're looking forward to growing that group, our First Capital Club, and our Alexi de Tocqueville Society. So you're going to see a bunch of more stuff coming out. Events, we have our First Capital Club is March 13th. Our Tocqueville Society, again, is in the summer. And lastly, our celebration, which some of you attend. Thank you for being there. Last year, we had almost 200 people at this celebration. This year, it's April 10th. We're looking to get some more folks there. This time, it's at the Valencia downtown. We're anticipating even a greater celebration as we recognize our impact and our partners and our community partners who help us make those impacts. Some of you may be aware in 2024, we brought back our Day of Action. We heard our businesses and our corporations say we want to have the Day of Action back. So we collaborated with our friends at Give Local. We brought together 400 participants in over 30 locations across the county. These folks did everything from cleaning up large camps in the blazing sun to literally ripping up carpet out of a church. So we're very grateful for that. We're going to continue that in September this year. Last slide, I think. I do want to note that we're fortunate enough to have a great working relationship with United Way Worldwide and United Way Pennsylvania. They've provided us support through this transition and guidance throughout the past few years. The improvements that they've made internally have given us greater access to resources on a national level, which are really just tremendous for us. So we're really grateful for them. Our collective brand, our partnerships, all valuable because of our network. So we're grateful to what they provide. Our United Way network and brand has given us a unique position as a community collaborator to lead conversations in the national funding and relief space. We talk about the hurricanes, we talk about the fires, all the terrible things that are going on. We want you to be assured that whether it's conversations about federal funding or whether it's disaster relief, we stand ready to provide local nonprofits with the support and resources that they need in collaboration with our partners. It doesn't escape me that none of this work is possible without a lot of you in this room, in this great community. I appreciate the heck out of all of you. If you're not already connected to the United Way and anything I spoke about today kind of resonates with you and you want to talk, we'd love to have you on board. And at this time, I will take any questions from Al, and I don't think Jim's here, but I'll take one from him too. Any questions? Is he? Okay. Thank you guys. I appreciate the time. Yeah. I can't even see who's back there.
It's okay. You wouldn't be able to see me if I stood anyway. I'll try. Okay. Hi. Hi, Brian. Thank you so much for the presentation. I've learned a lot about the United Way.
Yeah.
I did have a question that goes back to the very beginning of your presentation with the slides about the definition of ALICE. So I understand the acronym, but two of those three terms are not known to me insofar as their metrics. So what actually makes somebody income constrained, for instance? Thank you.
Understood. Great question. Thank you. So we'll stick with a family of 4 with 2 working parents and 2 children in childcare. All right, we're just gonna stick with that. There's ways you could break this up, numerous ways, single families, just there's a variety of ways, but just in that we'll stick with that category alone. Family of 4, 2 working parents. Their household income needs to be over $148,000 in Pennsylvania to feel stable. To only survive, they have to make at least 85,000. So you're not considered to be living in poverty until you make $31,000. So it's above that, but before the 148. That's the threshold we're talking about. One financial emergency away, they'll plummet right back into that poverty. If you can't fix your refrigerator, you can't fix your tires, you can't get to work, all the bad things come along with that.
Thank you, Brian.
Hey, Tom.
Tom Donnelly. United Way in York, since its founding more than 100 years ago, a deep value has been good stewardship of donors' dollars, excellent stewardship of donors' dollars, and the money coming in and the money going to the organizations for service. I see it on the board, but I don't really know how to express it. Not on that board as a board member.
Oh, gotcha.
Maybe you can reflect on that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, traditionally, again, we would raise dollars, bring the dollars in and shotgun them out to multiple partner agencies throughout the county. Our goal is to see how much impact we can make with the dollars we're bringing in. So that's why this issue focused happened. To be able to pick a topic that our community told us they feel that's important, which was working families. So it's really on us to, going into this first year, this is our measuring year, right? We've just gone through this whole transition. We still have one more year to fund our partner agencies at the 30% allocation as we traditionally have. And then it's all on board for transportation, childcare, ALICE families. So those dollars are going to go directly into the pockets. We're working on the measurables. You heard some of that I talked about, the 5,000 families we're going to serve, the dollars we're anticipating going back into their pockets. But really, this is that last year of understanding what those details look like. Did that answer it? Yeah, thanks, Tom. Thank you for your leadership.
I hate to disappoint, Brian. You mentioned a target of 5,000 families. How does that break down between City of York and York County? And in your experience in these three problem domains, to what extent do you think it's effective to try to detach considerations of the city from considerations of the county?
Well, it's going to be open for application, right? So we're not sure if it's going to be all the city that's going to apply or throughout the county. I mean, we're throughout the entire county. Our focus groups are in Hanover. We have focus groups in South York. So I don't have that answer to say like where those 5,000 families are going to come from outside. They're coming from our county. No, the target is 5,000 individuals in York County. Households, 5,000 households. Yeah, with the target investments in childcare, transportation, and financial wellness. Does that answer your question?
For that part.
What was the second part?
City, county versus effective solution.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to give it to Laura.
Great question. That's why we're not in the business of prescribing what the intervention is going to be. So we understand that the diversity of the county requires different solutions for different populations. So for example, take transportation. The Ride United program was primarily like Lyft and DoorDash. That might work better for some folks that are in the more remote parts of the county, but we're also investing in things like bus passes and better bus shelters. So it's not that everyone gets the same, it's that everyone gets what they need. And so we're really taking time to understand what those different needs are. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yep.
Laura, don't go anywhere.
Kelly.
Kelly Gibson, Cultural Alliance. Laura and I like to geek out on grant making.
Yes.
I wanted to give you a chance to share a little bit. As you've changed this model, you've had to change the traditional grant making
Yes.
that you've done. How have you shifted your grant making to serve individuals? Some highlights of that.
Thank you for asking. So we have 3 different grant cycles that Brian talked about on the slide. The first one is our Early Childhood Education Center grants. That actually looks pretty similar to the way in which we used to support early childhood education in the past through our partner agency model. They are grants that are going to those nonprofits who are a Star 3 or 4 center who are looking to support maybe staff salaries, maybe some new toys. It's kind of up to them because they need that flexibility. And the background Brian and I have of working previously in an early learning center, we understand that flexibility is key. For the others, we have a Ride United micro grant that's coming up in the summer. I've been really conscientious of making our grant applications easier to accomplish because often there's a a perception among the applicant that the funder is trying to make it as hard as possible. And so we're trying to understand how to reduce barriers, not only for Alice families to access this money, but for the nonprofits to access this money. We expect it to be a really collaborative conversation with our funded partners. Half of the application is going to be a meeting, that it's not us coming in with clipboards and making people scared. It's us having a conversation about what challenges are you up against, how do you anticipate using this funding. And then finally, the transportation innovation grants are later in the year. We're excited about some major sector-wide, county-wide impacts that we might be able to have on those. That would be looking to kind of change the systems that are behind the scenes in transportation that is keeping things from advancing forward. So it's different. And I keep telling everyone that we are learning through this year. So we hope that those that are funded tell us about their experience working with us, and we might be able to tweak things for 2026. Kelly, let me know if that answered your question. Thanks.
Thanks, Laura.
Anybody else?
Going once, going twice. Oh, no, we got time.
Since Jim Anderson isn't asking, I get a follow-up here. Brian, you're not afraid to ask, I know that, but you omitted one leadership giving category. That's the $1 Million Club.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Bob Pulo, our fellow Rotarian, is the only member of that club right now. And he's told me I'm getting lonely there as
Yes.
the only member. So if any Rotarian is willing to step up and join Bob Pulo, please see one of us after the meeting.
Yes. Immediately following the meeting. All right. Thanks, everyone. You have any questions, just let me know.
Brian, thank you for taking the time to share the exciting updates about the United Way of York County. Your dedication to strengthening our community is truly inspiring, and we appreciate your leadership and are looking forward to seeing the impact of your work in 2025. As you all know, instead of giving the speakers a gift, we purchase a book and we ask them to sign the bookplate and we donate it locally. This week's book will be donated to Lincoln Charter School in the city of York, along with a bookmark made by the students at Creative York. Next week, our speaker will be Rotarian Jenny Engelworth. Jenny is CEO of Family First Health, a patient-centered medical home that provides team-based care with a focus on wellness and prevention. She will share insights from her 20 years of leadership in our community's health center, as well as spotlight Family First Health's dedicated efforts in child and adolescent health. Jenny will give an overview of the organization and share their vision as they celebrate their 55th anniversary of serving York. Additionally, next week, I will be traveling. I'll be in Michigan for a work meeting, so President-elect Wilda will be in charge. I did ask her to speak as fast as she possibly could, so it still feels like that I'm here without actually being here. But no, I will see you guys the following week. This meeting is now adjourned.